Hey guys, I'm back playing a 3-minute game, and we got ourselves Roy Lopez. We'll just play mainline Roy Lopez. Roy Lopez. Here, black can choose between d6 and castles. I'm going to play d6. More used to this variation. Castles would leave open the possibility of the Marshall Gambit, which involves going d5 in one go. I don't normally play the line I'm going to play here, but might as well experiment. So this is the Breyer variation. Idea is the knight is poorly placed on c6 because it blocks the c-pawn. So I'll reposition it to d7, and it also frees up the c-pawn too, if I want to advance that. Many top players play the Breyer variation, like Carlsen, for instance, just to name one top guy. I'm going to try to get his bishop out of here. Don't want to deal with it on that square. I am blocking my c-pawn now, though. He might play b4 and try to put the bishop back on b3. I'll play g6 to keep his knight out of f5. I'll likely reposition my bishop to g7 too. So bishop f8, bishop g7. Yeah, looks like he might do this plan. I wonder if going to e6 is appropriate here. Let's try it. a4 doesn't bother me much, I don't think. We'll trade. We'll play h6. Nice to play a 5-minute game after a long stint of 3-minute games. So I have to remember I have time to think. So does he. Goes to d2. I'll proceed as planned. Just bishop g7. That's a common maneuver that he did, playing the bishop out to pin a knight, and then after it's chased by the pawn, bringing the bishop back. So later on, he can hope to play queen c1, for instance, to gain a tempo. Now the big question, do I want to break with d5, or should I delay that decision? Let's delay it, see how he plays it. The drawback of my last move, queen d7, is that if he goes queen f3 now, he'd be threatening bishop takes h6. And if I take, he could play queen takes f6. So if he plays queen f3, and he does, how do I treat this? We'll do that. Not a pretty place for the knight, but maybe I can bring it out to g5. h4 is probably a good move by him here. He's playing all the moves that I say he should play. Can bring the knight back to f6, or go through f8 to e6 perhaps. There's this tension with the a and b pawns. He could try to double up on the A file. Let's say rook A2 and bring the other rook over. And then make a timely capture on B5. Because this is a situation where I would very rarely take his pawn on A4. So he controls the pace of play with those pawns. So maybe he's bringing the knight to E3. That would almost certainly be the reason for his last move. That's good thinking. I'm going to control the D5 square. And then let's say he plays knight E3 here. I'll play rook A D8. And try to break through a D5 in the center. Although, I don't know if I want to give up control of the A file. Let's go knight here first. I know C6 looks awful with my light square bishop here, but it does help me play D5. And I think it was important to keep his knight out of D5 as well. Queen G3. I might have to worry about knight F5 a little bit. For now, it doesn't seem like a problem. Yeah, let's advance. Can't I win a pawn now? Oh. Another move I didn't see. Been saying that a lot lately. Bad news. Okay. Have to watch out for those pins, folks. Run with the king, or do I play knight D5? What's wrong with the king? Knight F5 is irritating, to say the least. Ever since I started playing on chess.com, I've played some awful games. Maybe I should have stuck to ICC. Danny Wrench, if you're watching this, don't take that as an affront to chess.com. I love chess.com. I might be able to salvage this game. We'll see. For now, he has nothing, and his clock is ticking down. I just got to make sure knight F5 doesn't kill me somewhere. Okay, he's going to go all in. G4. If I take with the pawn, he'll advance H5. So let's just take this way. He's probably going to take on H5 now. But now I can get the queens off the board if I want to, by playing queen G4 check next. Yeah, I probably should do that. This is kind of a time ploy, but it seems like the smartest thing to do at the moment. Oops, that's defended. That D1 square. I'm not doing too bad after all. Okay, the clock helped me out a lot on this one. But a win's a win, right? Okay. Let's go back. I felt that my troubles started shortly after knight f1 here. Again, my lack of experience in this variation shows because I know a lot of times black wants to go rook e8 and then bishop f8. But if I play rook e8, I feel like knight g5 is a move that's going to force me to play rook f8 back. So that's why I played knight c5, but I really don't like that move. For precisely the reason that happened in the game. He can play b4 later and reestablish the bishop on b3. I don't think a4 helped him much. I would not have played that move right away. I probably would have played bishop back to b3. Also, I thought his knight g5 move helped me. Maybe that was accommodating because my knight in e6 does not seem extremely well placed here. Again, bishop b3 keeps the tension, probably a better option. I don't know the benefit of the analysis engine here on chess.com. Yeah, this move also probably a mistake by me because of queen f3 with that bishop takes h6 threat. I could pull the trigger on d5 right here. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, this was probably the best time for d5 before his queen's even out on f3. Queen d7 was indecisive. He looked good here. Like knight f1, that seems like a strong move. His knight doesn't have a lot of future on g3, so he repositions it to e3. And I went for this d5 plan, completely overlooking queen takes g6. This might be a blind spot for me. I've fallen for this tactic before. Not even tactic. I've just fallen for this pin before with exactly the same situation. A light square bishop pinning my king on g8, allowing queen takes g6. To his credit, he saw it right away. So then I moved out of the way, because if I don't, his next move will be knight f5. And now, fortunately for me, he was in a lot of time pressure here. Maybe the win will be more difficult for him to prove. Actually, I mean, I don't even know if white's winning here. It seems like he should have something based on how it went down. But alas, time pressure. And maybe this endgame, once I get into it, is not so bad for black. Yeah, it's equal material. I'm pretty active as well. Well, losing the c6 pawn and potentially the a6 pawn if he captures there was not good. I do have bishop h6. He can take on f3 then. But yes, the rest of this was time pressure. Big time pressure problem for him. And one final thought about this. So that position where I was debating what to play, that's what they call a tabia in an opening. A tabia is like a main line position, a key position in the line that you're studying, playing. So right here, I played knight b8, the Breyer variation. Also popular is knight a5. That's the Chigorin variation, attacking the bishop on b3, the intention of going c5 next. Bishop b7 is the Zaitsev variation. And there's also some minor lines like h6, rook e8 is played sometimes. Even unusual stuff like a5 you see from time to time here. So studying this tabia would be a good idea if you're interested in the Ruy Lopez for white or black. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.